So I think we would all agree that the Philadelphia 76ers have a pretty decent thing going on right now. As long as Joel Embiid's health stays up, it seems like he could be one of the best centers in the NBA because his effect on the defensive side of the floor for the Sixers last season was a little grotesque with how they were actually a decent team when he was on the floor, and then offensively, his skills in the low post, ability to hit three-pointers. Embiid's the real deal. The health is the only question. And then we go to Ben Simmons, who we have not seen, but it seems like he is a gifted athlete with his size and ball handling abilities, and how he could jet up and down the floor, and then how he could lead an offense. He's gotten some comparisons to LeBron James, and is that a little unfair for him? Probably, but when you're put into that sphere, it says, yeah, this guy can be a big-time player. Of course, we didn't see his, or what would have been his rookie year, but he seems like a big-time player as well. So going into this upcoming draft, I think they need to start thinking about guys that can play off of these two really well. And the thing with Ben Simmons is, by all accounts, dude can't shoot. He might be great when it comes to attacking the rim and getting everybody else involved, but the outside jumper is going to take some work, and I think that could really affect where they go in this draft. And could they potentially trade down? Well, let's talk about it. We can start with De'Aaron Fox. Seems like a hell of a point guard, and kind of like the point guard version of a Ben Simmons as the footage freaks out and then some. What the hell was that? Fox is an awesome playmaker, as he was leading Kentucky's offense, and he's thought of as the best point guard coming out of this draft. That's not even true. There's two guys ahead of him, but we're going to leave it in there anyway. He's the third best point guard, but still a big-time player. And just also seems like a guy who could get everybody involved and really lead your offense and play in the pick and roll and just be awesome for today's NBA. But the question that I'm going to ask is he the right fit next to Ben Simmons? I mean, if this was a team that was full of shooters and didn't have a big-time creator, then I think 100% you select De'Aaron Fox and then you build the team around him. But given that Fox and Simmons have very similar play styles, I don't know how they could really play off of each other. Just like Simmons, Fox is not a good shooter either. He didn't shoot well from three at all in college. He had a good free throw percentage, so that's a good sign, but it just doesn't seem like he could be the perfect fit. I mean, if Fox is running the offense, that means Ben Simmons has to play off ball. He's not very effective there because, like I just said, he can't shoot. And if Simmons is trying to do his stuff with the ball in his hands, you're asking Fox to play off ball. I just don't know if it's perfect, and Fox might go with the number 3 overall pick. Now we got to talk about Jason Tatum, who seems like a very gifted offensive player. Seems like a guy who can be effective playing the shooting guard, small forward, or power forward positions, can create his own shot, beat guys off the dribble, finish inside effectively, and that's all cool, but similar. You know, do we really want to give Jason Tatum the ball to be a big-time scorer when Ben Simmons is, just not having the ball in his hands? I really don't. I think Simmons' playmaking abilities and the growth that he can have as a scorer is going to be more valuable to you than what Jason Tatum can do. And I also don't think it's a perfect fit there because, like Tatum, he's not really an off-ball player. He's mainly a guy who has the ball in his hands, attacking guys in isolations, and he's not that great of a three-point shooter. I think he could grow into one because he's already really good for mid-range, but it's not his natural game to really play off ball like that. And that's another guy who I've seen around like the number 3 slot where the Sixers would be drafting. Now, Josh Jackson is interesting because he's perhaps the safest pick in this draft, given that every single night he's going to be an athlete, he's going to be tall, and he's going to be awesome on defense. And then offensively, he seems like a guy who can not run your offense, but be someone who can be a ball handler and at times be like the main distributor, maybe when the top guy is on the bench. And his shooting is weird. He actually shot well from 3 in college, but he didn't take too many. He was terrible from the free throw line, and every scouting report I've seen says that he's not going to be the best shooter. And if that's the case, I also don't believe that he might be the best choice next to Ben Simmons, because I mean, once again, you know, if Simmons is doing his thing with the ball in his hands and Jackson's just someone who can't really kill you, because if you leave him to bring more defenders to Simmons, he can't really hurt you from outside, that's going to be a problem. Does Philadelphia trade down to get something and then select Malik Monk? Because unlike all the guys I just mentioned, Malik Monk, not only is he more than capable of playing off of someone and shooting, he'll gladly do it as well. He took a lot of three-pointers at Kentucky, and he was playing off of De'Aaron Fox. I actually think this could be perhaps the best fit of all the guys. At least it just makes sense. You know, you have the creator in Simmons, you have the shooter in Malik Monk. The Sixers are, of course, looking for guards, and I think just because of Simmons' natural playmaking abilities, you might not need the big assist point guard. I mean, if you just have a shooter at the two-guard position, and then you can get a nice like defender/shooter for the point spot, that might be enough. And Malik Monk, I mean, if you're thinking about it like that, like he really could be the guy for them. I think his creating abilities are a bit better than he really had to show off at Kentucky. We can also talk about the fit next to Joel Embiid. I mean, Embiid's going to be posting up, and teams are going to have to bring some double teams sometimes. That could give a lot of opportunities for Monk, or it would make you say, crap, do I leave Monk to defend Embiid? Like, what do I do here? And the same thing can be said for Ben Simmons. I mean, if we talk about just Simmons as well as Joel Embiid, I mean, I think these two are going to be the leaders of Philadelphia's offense, and they could have a hell of a pick and roll just between those two. I mean, Simmons seems like he's going to be awesome attacking the rim. We've already seen how dominant Joel Embiid can be just in his rookie season, not having a big-time playmaker next to him. Imagine if you're stretching the floor with Dario Saric at the power forward position, and then you have Malik Monk standing in the other corner as well. I mean, the defense is going to be like, what do I do? If I leave someone open, it's probably going to be 3 points. Now, there are a couple of teams behind the Sixers. One of them is the Sacramento Kings. Maybe they'd be willing to give you something to move up. I don't really know who they'd want to pick. Maybe they would want De'Aaron Fox for the point guard position. The Phoenix Suns, I think Josh Jackson makes sense for them. Perhaps they'd be willing to move up to select him, and then you could go down and select Monk. The Orlando Magic need a shakeup as well as some excitement. I think there's an opportunity for a couple of teams that would be willing to move up in this draft. And I'm just thinking about it from playing off of Ben Simmons. The big one is still Josh Jackson. If he can shoot, then I would think you go with him, but I mean, who really knows what they're going to do?